This is the Ben Herman Show.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Ben Herman here. Welcome back to the show. We've got a very, very special guest. His name is Rick Webb, and he has been proving the doubters wrong all the way since middle school as he got into DJing and also created a YouTube channel when people doubted him back then. He's built a massive YouTube community inside the DJ space and across multiple channels as well. In addition to that, he also owns 3 different companies, Fusion Sound and Lighting, Greensboro Holiday Lights, and Both Lighting. He's actually the USA representative as well. He has 5 full-time employees, 15 to 20 part-time employees as well. Welcome, Rick Webb. How's it going?
It's going great, man. It's great to be here. Love chatting business. You know, besides that, I run a whole podcast with my boy Eric, and we strictly talk like DJ business, and that's kind of our thing. So,
oh, really?
I love being on shows like this too. Yeah.
Oh, that's
actually doing tonight. We do it live on YouTube. Just a little side hobby thing we do for our podcast. But yeah, love chatting about business and love talking shop. So glad to be here.
Definitely, that's awesome, man. Well, tell me a little bit about your history. So, you've been proven haters wrong, right, since middle school. So walk me through that. Like, what happened?
Yeah, like that's I could sum up like where I've got to now is like I'm fueled by people telling me I can't do something. You tell me to not do it, I'm going to do it. Is like the definition, with the exception of things like I'm not going to jump off a cliff, or if you tell me to don't jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like growing up, I was actually in catering originally. So like my neighbor ran like the catering company locally. So that got me into the private event space. And I saw like the DJ world and was kind of interested in like playing music. I'm like, I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing with this. I have a knack for it. I saw the other guys weren't connecting. So I dabbled in that. Even before then, I've always been a YouTube person. You know, I loved making YouTube videos. I jumped on the platform in middle school. Early on, I tried to emulate a lot of other channels out there. I had a tech channel at one point. I had a Trick Shot Dude Perfect channel at one point. You can actually still go find those somewhere on the interwebs if you go digging for them. But yeah, I kind of like got into like the Casey Neistat vlogging stuff, and that kind of shifted into the DJ vlogging, and then that formed the new category of like gig vlogging. I was one of like the first ones that started doing that, and that spiraled to where it was. But along the way, you know, high school, middle school, people calling you out, even maybe some local people. I grew up in a small town, about 30,000. So anything internet-wise, DJ, you can't make money doing that. You can't make money on YouTube. There's no way to do that. But I just kept pushing and grinding along with going down the path that everyone told me to go. So everyone told me, get good grades, go to college, get a good job. So I went down that route. I went to high school. I was top of my class, graduated, went to college, had scholarships, got a degree in engineering, graduated top of my engineering class, got an amazing job out of college. But along the whole way, I loved the entrepreneurial spirit. I had a landscaping company when I was in middle school. I fixed cell phone repairs in college. So was hustling on the grinding on the back end, and was able to grow basically my companies to the point of I only stayed in engineering for 3 years out of college, and then completely dropped that and went full time with my companies, and been exponentially growing them every year. And it's been crazy and fun.
Oh man, that's incredible. I love your story, by the way. And it sounds like you were kind of born to be an entrepreneur. Did you have any entrepreneurs in your family or anybody that inspired you to go off to start your own thing, or?
I wouldn't say no, not really. From a family standpoint, I mean, one of my uncles owns a landscaping company, but I was never close to him. But from a core standpoint, you know, I would say the only person that really showed me kind of that way, and he even preached the whole go to college, and he did the same thing. He just finally retired and now is doing his company full time. But he ran a DJ entertainment company. I worked for his entertainment company when I lived in Ohio before moving to North Carolina and starting my own thing. And I kind of like saw a lot of his stuff, and he showed me the ropes of how to run a company. But he was still working a full-time job while running a multi-million-dollar DJ company because he wanted pensions and stuff that doesn't exist anymore. So maybe he had some good reasons for staying to get the pension. But a lot of what my inspiration and stuff came from YouTubers, YouTube videos. Grant Cardone was a heavy person that I followed throughout the journey. There's a variety of other ones on there. Alex Hermosi, a lot of, I call it YouTube education. You ever heard of Dr. Gary Sanchez?
No, I haven't.
Dr. Y guy? So I got to see him speak in Nashville just in April. I'm in a business coaching group called Action Coach. I'm not sure if you heard that before.
No, I haven't.
But
no.
they have a national conference called BizX that we go to every year, and they brought in him and a few other people to speak. But he talks about like finding your why, and he actually has this tool that you can take a survey, and it'll tell you your why. It's actually your why, your what, and your who. So it'll tell you exactly why you do what. But my trait is actually a mastery trait, which makes a lot of sense. Which basically states that my purpose in life is to master things, just to master whatever I set to do. So that really shows in my, what I call education YouTube EDU, where anything I want to do, I go to YouTube, I like dive into it for a week to learn everything I need to know about it. And then I go and do it. Whether that's building a business or learning how to grow the perfect lawn or variety of other random hobby stuff I like to get into.
Well, I can see now how this kind of comes full circle. So you've gained a ton from YouTube, a ton of value from YouTube. And then I'm assuming that's what inspired you then to give it back as well, right? Where you then created your channels and shared your knowledge as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that.
I can't remember exactly the other ones, but basically my purpose is to master things, to simplify it, and then to give it back to everyone. Those are like the traits that he identified through my surveying, was that I set out to master something, simplify it, and then repackage it and give it back to others. And that's
great.
That definitely sums up my YouTube channel in terms of a lot of what I've done is like audio related stuff and DMX lighting, and trying to take the knowledge that's out there and make it simplified and easier to digest for people.
Love that. Okay. And so out of all the things that you've got going on, because I mean, we listed a few, right? But there's other things that you're also doing as well that are keeping you busy. What are you the most excited about right now?
My next kind of venture I'm trying to get into with coaching. So coaching membership group thing. It's a fresh idea. It's something I want to sit down here in the next quarter and actually to develop what the business plan is going to be for this venture. Basically, I've already started coaching like one-to-one a couple of young entrepreneur DJs that are giving me feedback as to what I'm coaching them and how I'm progressing. And I don't think I've come really far in the industry, but compared to a lot of people, I have come very far. And I want to create some sort of way to basically have like maybe 20 or so people in a group setting where we can do like monthly meetings and actually coach and educate. I started business coaching a little over a year ago with my coach, and it's been so tremendously inspiring, and also just how much I've gained from it has been incredible, that I think that's kind of the next route I want to go in terms of giving back to the community, is doing more related to educational and coaching. And a lot of that stuff doesn't really transpire well on YouTube. The stuff that gets the views and actually gets traction is like pretty gear, shiny objects, stuff like that. But then like the core followers are the people that are in my DMs asking those questions that I really actually want to talk about. I want to talk about some more stuff about like how you price, how do you set your profit margins, how do you pay your employees, how do you set up an EIN number, stuff like that. The stuff that they don't teach you, the simple business school. So forming some sort of multi-layer business membership, I kind of envision like having multiple tiers, like a really low entry level one, or even a lot of freebie stuff like PDFs and stuff that'll be very helpful for people to get started. And then when they see the value in it and they want more information as they grow, they can start paying for some more higher level knowledge skills, or maybe some one-to-one sessions or group coaching sessions. Again, it's very vague right now, but
I love your vision, though. I love your vision.
Kind of grow into some sort of coaching, teaching DJs how to become better DJs and business owners, really.
I can tell that you are a creator. Like there's a pattern here throughout your life that you love to create things, right? And you also love to give back to the community as well. So I love that you have that spirit, because we need more people just like you in this world to be able to, again, push the industry forward and so forth, right? So that's like something that you're working on. And then what else are you excited about at the moment?
I've been just overall excited with all of my companies in terms of the growth right now. We've been bringing on a lot of new members. We've hired 3 now. We're going to be I'm hiring one. Literally, we just applied. She's going to be working Greensboro Holiday Lights. But I think just the growth that we're doing right now is insane. And I think the biggest grower out of all of them is the Both Lighting USA branch. I brought on Marcellus full-time, who's one of my DJs. He's my right hand. He's been growing the whole entire Fusion company with me from college, and he now runs that division completely. And the amount of business we're doing now is grown to the point now, and the amount of customer service we need to do, that we actually just brought in another person now that's full-time to also help with helping people on the customer service side of getting their lighting and making sure it's all working and proper for them. So it's really exciting just for me to start to provide more and more for more people. From an excitement standpoint, that's the biggest excitement for me, is just building companies that are providing a living for other people. And we're looking into this year, we're going to have complete health plans and 401ks available benefits for all of our employees benefits by the end of the year. I'm working with a couple payroll providers to get all that set up. So that's super exciting.
Man, I love that. I can tell, like, there's a lot that we seem to have in common. That I also actually got into DJing, not YouTube, but DJing when I was in middle school. And I started my first company officially, my entertainment company, as a junior in high school, and then scaled that thing into a multi-op, and then since then have created multiple businesses as well. And the one thing that seems to excite me the most is the impact that our businesses can have on the world, right? The people that we hire, the team that we get to work with, in addition to also the customers that we serve, right? Because we actually get to impact both sides of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
That's like, you get really long-winded when you want to express that your gratitude for the team you built, but also the amazing events and the stuff that you're providing for the world. Because it's like a double whammy when you're doing both at an amazing level. You know, you want to brag about the amazing team you've built and the people, but you don't want to sound like you're boasting, like your guys are making a lot of money. No, we're also doing all these amazing events and giving back to the community and creating memories for people. That's our actual slogan, is creating memories that last a lifetime. So pretty much every aspect of every business we're doing right now, which is incredible.
Yeah. I could see that. Especially with like the holiday lights, you know, I mean, holiday lights is a huge memory builder for sure.
Both lighting, we're creating memories. You know, DJs are getting these lights. Every DJ remembers when you get some fresh, brand new lights or equipment out of the box. But then also we're empowering them to go make memories too for other people. So
absolutely. So tell me, I know that Both Lighting is a Chinese-based company, right? You didn't found that company, but you're working with them. So how did that even come together in the first place?
Everything just fell like it landed in my lap. Rewind back to 2020. I was looking to buy more uplights. I had some ADJ name brand ones at the time, and they're just god-awful expensive. And me and Joe Bunn linked up for the first time. We filmed some stuff for the Vault. We were also working on his DJ Command Center, doing some promotional stuff for that. And he showed me all of his lighting from Both Lighting. He was talking about how cheap they were. Like, it was only like $100 a light. I was like, he gave me the WhatsApp contact for it. I dealt with China a couple times before, so I wasn't too unfamiliar with it, but went through the whole process on their thing, on WhatsApp, wired them their money, you know, sketchily, and I got 3 cases of 24 total uplights, and they arrived literally right in March as the whole world shut down. Thankfully, in North Carolina, we had events pick up and everything. I never made a promotion video or anything. I just started using them at all my events that fall. They were in my gig logs. And I mentioned, you know, in the gig logs, these are my new Both Lighting lights, but I never made a dedicated video. That coming January in 2021, I get a WhatsApp message from Cheryl my rep over in Both Lighting. Is like, hey, we keep getting a lot of people saying they saw your lights on your videos and whatnot. And I looked up your channel and saw you got all these followers. We'd love to work together either in a commission route where we'll give you a commission on the orders, or you could become our only US-based dealer and help on the customer service side.
Wow.
And, you know, I scratched my head and I asked a couple of my business friends, and they're like, dude, you should go for that. Just go for that. And we talked about it. You know, there was a gap where, you know, we got these name brand lighting companies in America that mark up their pricing a lot to a company for the big global predominant that they are. Normally they're owned with even bigger and bigger and bigger
It's like $4 to 5 times that amount, right? I mean, per uplight, for sure.
Yeah, and they're big corporate companies, and they're owned by even bigger corporate companies. They're just a little brand under these big umbrella companies, which is why they have to charge the margin they do. Then you have the sketchy way of ordering from China that we went through. So the whole goal was, let's make it easier for people to get their lights from China and only mark it up a decent amount. And the best way I like to put it, it's like if you've ever seen Mark Cuban, where they started the cost plus drugs, where they're making it very transparent that this is the cost plus the margin that we have to take on, and you get the product. It's not a ridiculous margin or anything. So
yeah.
We set out on doing that, and I started promoting it through the channel. We grew that company through 21 into 22. The demand just got almost too much overwhelming for me to handle in 2022, so I brought on Marcellus to run it. And we did all this kind of on the back end through like invoicing and CRMs. We didn't have a website or anything.
Oh, really? No website? So it's like just phone orders and...
We did it for 2 years, just DMs, emails. I had an email listing, and that was how all of our business went through. Then come this year, we launched our website, and the business has just skyrocketed.
I can only imagine. It's because you legitimize it, right? Instead of it feeling this, like you said, the sketchy way through WhatsApp, how your experience was, you're legitimizing it where there's a shopping cart, I'm assuming, and people can...
Yep.
There's
a shopping cart, and everything's transparent there. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to provide it a better way. And it's crazy. When we launched the website, my rep DM'd me and said, I love the website. 2 stipulations. 1, you can only sell Both Lighting products because you're using the Both Lighting name. Okay, cool. 2, I think you guys can now offer a 2-year warranty above our 1-year warranty, and we'll support you with all the parts. Which was like, what? She's like, yeah, because you're handling all the back and forth. But it makes sense cost-wise. They talked about like how much it costs to send a single part from China to these individual people. Instead, they send a big bulk shipment of all the parts to us here. We have literally every part we could ever need here inside the warehouse, and we can fix any single light that we have any issues with. And they reimburse us for the shipping to back and forth between the customers during those 2 years.
Gotcha. So it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, so basically anyone can now buy the lights, 100%, don't have to worry about any duds or any issues down the line. They're all taken care of. It's all taken care of.
And you said a 2-year warranty too, which is great.
2 years.
Amazing.
Anything breaks within 2 years is taken care of. Batteries, everything.
How do people find out more about it? Like, where do they go to take a look at your catalog?
So it's bothlightingusa.com.
And both, it's BOTH. Everyone.
BOTH lightingusa.com. And the latest expansion on that, we've actually partnered with SoundSwitch, and Marcellus is actually a guru in SoundSwitch. So we have actually pre-script wrote a complete SoundSwitch file.
Oh, nice.
That you can purchase, that basically you can jump into DMX program lighting without the need for ever having to program a single thing.
Yeah,
so
that's
you can
amazing.
buy the lighting from us, buy the program, basically, and you could be up and running with DMX lighting for cold sparks, moving heads, uplights, and you don't really have to know anything with programming DMX or anything.
Yeah, that's a huge value. I mean, even those that know DMX, I mean, it takes forever to script scenes and automations. Oh man, yeah.
We just launched pixel tubes, so they're like the Astera knockoffs.
Yeah,
call them the Gasteras in our ads. We actually, we got a cease and desist letter from Astera because Both Lighting used the word Titan tube in their naming. And we're like, why did you use that? So we just went with it. It was our naming scheme.
Yeah.
And then they said you can't use Titan in it. So we had to take Titan off all of our stuff.
I see.
That was fun. But those big, long pixel tubes have like 120 DMX channels. And I think Marcellus is going on week 3 now, trying to program them for SoundSwitch right now. Oh my God. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Like each channel, right? So I think of movers, right? It's like panning left to right is one channel, right? Up and down is another. What is it? 120 channels?
So basically imagine it like 120 uplights. That tube going up and down has 120 individual uplights. It's how it's programmed. Gotcha. So you could tell each individual of those 120 individual LEDs what color to be, when to be, how to strobe. Just like if you had 120 uplights stacked up and down.
That's incredible.
It's extremely hard.
Well, thank you for doing all the hard work for us, so that way we can just purchase your program and it's done.
I can't say I'm doing it, but
your
team's doing it.
The team's doing it. There you go. That's great. Well, I'd love to switch gears here. So tell me a little bit more about Greensboro holiday lights. So I think this is super interesting. A little bit of context. One of my mentors, who's actually my closest mentor, he actually came from the home service space. Okay, he was actually carpet cleaner by trade, blew that thing up across 6 different states and was doing lots of revenue, right? Just literally sucking rugs, which is crazy.
Yep.
Then he became a private equity investor, and now he's like acquiring different companies across the country that are in the home service space. And he tells me all the time about, roofers and all these different types of home service businesses and how they then provide, like landscaping companies or, roofers will provide lighting services during the holiday season because it's a very smart thing to do, right?
It is.
What inspired you to get into it, though? Because I rarely see DJs getting into this space.
It's a weird way it transpired, but our company does a lot of pipe and drape. We do twinkle lights, bistro lighting, stuff like that for events.
Yeah.
And we had a client in December of 21 that reached out to us through one of an interior designer that knew about us. He wanted us to come in and make his airplane hangar not look like an airplane hangar for his daughter's rehearsal dinner on his private ranch property with tons of acres. So we put that all together, and then he pitched. His wife said, our property looks really modern, and it's December, and we're gonna have all these people, family members. We need to make it look more Christmassy. So he basically said, can you do that? And he's like, I envision us lighting up the whole entire driveway, which is 2,000 feet long. And I was like, I can figure something out. So I took my engineering background and YouTube EDU, went online, went on YouTube, dived into it for a week straight. Literally, I was working a full-time job at the time, engineering. I didn't do crap at my engineering job that day. I was literally just on YouTube at work, just learning everything there is about Christmas lighting. And along that research, I stumbled across a couple of guys in the home service industry that coach and teach and have videos that basically show you how to do this, how to run a Christmas lighting business. Yeah. And I was like, this is a thing. And then I got into commercial grade lighting where you can cut it the length and stuff. Wow. I was just like, this is awesome. This is crazy. You can charge and make these profit margins. It's insanity. So we did that for him. That was a $30,000 job.
Wow.
$20,000 was in Christmas lights. We hung over a mile of Christmas lights at this dude's house. So that kicked off the whole idea of it. And we spent that whole entire next summer of 2022 creating Greensboro holiday lights. Because when I did my market research, there was no one in the triad that actually owned a company that specifically catered to it. There was a bunch of what you said, power washers and stuff that would offer it, but they didn't have a Christmas lighting brand.
Yeah.
Now, in Raleigh and Charlotte, there are a couple multi-million-dollar companies out there that do Christmas lighting specifically, and they have a separate brand for their home service business.
Yeah.
So we kind of went in it the opposite way. We basically created it, figured out everything we needed to do. I had my marketing company create a new logo, landing page, website. We did all the back-end funnel stuff that we needed to have set up for all the leads. And we just went ham. We dropped $10,000 in ad spend and just went ham. And we booked over $100,000 of jobs in the first year. And it was the most stressful thing in the world trying to pull those off.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Because, you pitch the people on the team. I mean, we're coming from a DJ industry, not we're a roofing company that have people that are on the roof. It was, I'll get on the roof. Yeah, I'll get on the roof. But we're doing houses that are normally $500,000 to $1 million. Yeah. And their roofs are like this. There's those architectural crazy roofs. And even though we bought the really expensive shoes and the harnessing stuff, I had multiple guys that got up there I don't feel comfortable, Rick. I'm not liking this.
I can only imagine. Oh,
so, man. Oh man, it was,
especially during the winter time, man.
Thankfully, we're in North Carolina, so I think the coldest it got down to was 40. We had a very mild winter.
Oh,
we had 30s and 20s at night, but we didn't have any snow, any ice to worry about.
Yeah, that's good.
But we powered through, knocked it out. We actually picked up a couple of strip malls where we hung reefs and stuff throughout the whole entire outdoor mall center. And it was crazy. I mean, we just took it from what I've learned in business, you got to spend all your money at marketing first, then worry about your inventory and all that stuff later.
Exactly right. Test the demand first, right? Yep,
exactly. So we dropped a lot of money in marketing to start it. And then as we collected those 50% down deposits, we started buying the lights we needed for the events. And overall, we pretty much broke even on the year. We didn't really make any money first year because we were trying all kinds of things between Angie's List, Facebook ads, Google ads to try to see what's going to work. We filled up 2 10 by 20 storage units right now full of lights and briefs and all kinds of stuff. But It's actually a service-based model though, which is interesting. So there's a lot of different ways that people do it, but I like the model of no one actually owns the lights. We own the lights. So that way they don't have to worry about them burning out. That's how we sell it. They don't have to worry about burnout. But it's the same price every single year. We can change up the colors, all that. But being a service base, we're not selling a product to them, which is nice on the back end.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
I heard like my mentor had mentioned that, I don't know if you're doing like annual subscriptions where you get like annual recurring revenue, where the customer buys the lights, right? But you store them on their behalf and you charge them a monthly fee for storage to keep them on. So that way you get the job next year. Makes it sticky.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
That's it. See, I didn't want to have the tie up with the sales tax involved.
Yeah.
So by us flipping it into a service base, there's no actual physical product that is going to be given to the customer.
Yeah.
So we own all the lights and there's nothing involved in it. That's the current model we're rolling with right now. And honestly, some of the stuff, it does like burn out every year. Like the mini lights, it's like you're going to lose 10 to 20% of the mini lights every year.
Yeah.
But like the roofline lights are the most stable thing. They'll last like 2 to 3 years. But some of the mini lights and then the reefs, I mean, I had idiots taking down the reefs that dropped them from 20 feet. They completely mangled and bent and destroyed. So it's fun though. I'm really excited for this holiday light season. We're actually going out to dinner tomorrow for our onboarding dinner. We hired a girl that's going to be basically running all of Greensboro Holiday Lights. So she's going to be taking over all the sales, all the operations.
Nice.
And really help us be more strategic this year and less of running around like a chicken with a head cut off trying to figure out how to put lights up on all these houses.
Yeah. I have to tip my hat off to you though. It seems like you're a great delegator because you understand like you can't be in all places all at once. So to empower others to be able to run things on your behalf is how you make things more manageable for yourself. So that's really awesome that you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me a little bit about Fusion Sound and Lighting. How are things going there? Like right now, I'm assuming it's a busy season for you guys. So
we're actually coming off the first busy season. We have 2 seasons here. We have a spring busy and a fall busy. So we're literally on the down rise. Normally July, August is kind of slow for us. So
gotcha. Just because it's too hot, humid, I'm assuming out there.
Yeah, the humidity is ridiculous. But gotcha. Tends to be a little too hot, and also summer break kicks in for all the younger kids. So a lot of vacations are happening in July and August, or July and early August. But towards kind of late August is when we'll see our weddings basically start to take back off. September is always high. October is the highest, of course. So that's kind of. So I was recently just doing a whole document on the company to give out to our employees that talks about like our beginning, our growth, our expansion into all these different companies that we have now. And
I saw that on your story.
Currently, I just worked on it last night. I was finishing up the final touches on basically the company and everything.
That's awesome. It looks like there's a journey, right? From the beginning all the way through to current.
And even there's a future page on there on where we're going to take the company into different ventures in the future. But one of the coolest things that when I was making it, I got to the expansion, talking about both lighting, talking about Greensboro Holiday Lights. And then I was like, but at the same time, we've been growing Fusion Sound Lighting at almost the same level of crazy, where we're doubling, if not tripling, every single year. We just came off of our biggest year ever. We did 114 events last year, and we're on pace right now to do a little over 200 this year. So it's growing at the same sort of rate on the back end. We're adding on DJs. We just added our 5th full-time DJ this year, and he's been amazing as well. He's got basically a really good TikTok Reels social background. So now we also paid him more to do all of our socials. So see anything Fusion Sound Lighting, it's him. It's not any of us on the back end. It was a fun company. We started, the whole entire Fusion Sound Lighting started back in 2017 in a college apartment. It's when I'd accepted my full-time job to come down to North Carolina for engineering. We basically, during that, me and Marcellus, we went to the same college, basically built the Fusion Sound Lighting brand on the back end. And we actually traveled that winter in January of 2018 down to do a wedding show, multiple wedding shows down here on our winter break to try and drum up business before getting there in May. So that worked out well. We got some
very smart
events coming into basically living down there, and we grew it. 2019 was solid. We did like 30, 40 events. And then 2020, we were set to do over 100, and COVID hit.
Yep.
So we ended up doing another. fall it picked back up. We did about 20 or 30. We were a little loose on restrictions over here, but that kind of set us up. Actually, I talked about in our journey that 2020 was actually a little bit of a blessing. We had a good amount of capital build up from the 30 or 40 events that we did, and allowed us to purchase the right equipment, and really allowed me to sit down and write a lot of our structure, write a lot of our processes, our business plan, and really get a little bit more of a strategic plan. Because I knew internally, I'm like, as soon as we get back, it's going to be
crazy
insanity.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. So 2020 was actually pretty nice in terms of being able to restructure and basically get a really good strategic plan in place to move forward. Just grew it every single year, added on new DJs, really heavily worked on the networking side. We're still working even harder on that now. Just that's kind of the bread and butter of any DJ business, is the networking side of things.
Absolutely. For sure.
Getting in there with the planners, getting in there with the vendors, or the venues more importantly. And that's kind of just been the focus as we grow, but we also been spending a good amount of money on marketing as well.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which is good. You're focusing on the organic and also the paid, right? To really fill up your traffic sources. In regards to, like, I always love to ask this question because, you definitely seem to be a smart guy, very experienced as well. You've done a lot of cool things in your life. There's someone that's looking up to you that's listening right now, right?
Absolutely.
What advice would you like to give them in the sense of, like, maybe they're like having some limiting beliefs, some self-doubt, like, is this really something that could be possible for me? What'd you tell them?
That's funny. We talk about limiting beliefs all the time in our coaching group, and we just call out everybody in our group whenever someone says something. We're like, that's a limiting belief.
Since it's your limiting belief, you don't understand, you don't realize that it's a limiting belief to you. Someone else from the outside has to call you out on it, right? That's the only way that you can shine light on it and become aware of it.
Yep. I think the best thing to really put is, like, any belief you have that's in a negative sense of what you can't do is a limiting belief. You can literally do anything in this world. My coach loves giving the example of our Greensboro Holiday Lights, because we literally created a 6-figure business in three months.
Yeah.
Out of nothing. So if you're out there listening, and you might be a DJ, you might be a business owner of any sort of capacity, it is possible. There is no, I can't charge this in my market. That actually is true. You can charge whatever price you want. You might have to work your way up to that price point, but any limiting beliefs in terms of trying to build a business, you can do it. I mean, all my life I've been told you can't do that. I mean, I was told from the get-go, you will never make money as a DJ. Now I'm charging thousands of dollars for my weddings, making a living as a DJ. If you pursue and just follow your passion and really just go at it, I mean, go in there fearful. Especially if you're young, you got nothing to lose. Until you turn 30, you really have nothing to lose. At 30 is kind of when you have to, like, I got to do something now to be economically and actually make money. But if you're young, go for it. I mean, I tell people all the time, if I knew I do know what I do now. I knew back then what I know now to some degree. Yeah. I knew where I was going to get because I was going to persevere. But if I would do it again, I would have said, screw everyone. I am 100% not going to college, and I'm going to build a business. That's what I would have done from the get-go. And it would have saved me a lot of headache that I'm dealing with now, and I'd be probably 3 times further along than what I am.
Wow.
But
was it your parents' advice that were pushing you to go to college?
Yeah, absolutely. That was part of it, but
gotcha.
I mean, it's
because someone can relate to you on that, right? I mean, that's the norm for the most part, right? Parents are pushing their kids to go to school, and you're saying, hey, just think about that.
It's a touchy subject for It's a touchy subject. I mean, my mom was my supporter. My dad was my logic person, is the best way to put it. So my dad was always pushing logic. Even when I told him I'm quitting and going full time, he was still telling me, it could turn over. It's a wedding industry. Like, the demand might not be there tomorrow. You never know. And I'm like, Dad, I'm making like twice, if not 3 times more money now than I am in engineering. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think love's ever going to die. So,
and it's just how people are. You got to think your parents, they only know what they know, and they know what they were taught from their parents. So my dad was raised on a farm, preached logic. You know, all he knew growing up was go be the first person to go to college, get a good job. And he did that. He went to college, got an IT job, made good money. So that's the path and the logic that he knew, and that's what he expressed to me. And I followed that path because, you know, I wanted to follow the same path that my dad wanted to support. But along that way, I also persevered and built this side hustle into what is now my full-time job.
Full-time hustle, right? Yeah.
So that absolutely is something you can do if you want to go down that route. I mean, it definitely helped going down that route from a money side, because the money from DJing paid for the engineering. And then I got out of engineering and got into a $67,000 engineering job with no debt, which was cool. And then I was actually had extra income to then grow the business on the side too. So it worked out, but ideally I would have just jumped in and persevered with building the business from the get-go. And anybody listening can do the same thing. But if you got doubters, I always tell people, whenever someone tells you that you can't do something, that should make you angry and want to actually go do it more.
Use that as a motion.
It should be a motivator, it shouldn't put you in your feelings and like get you upset.
Yeah.
And that might just be a trait you gotta have. You have to have some thick skin and know to go prove some people wrong.
I would say it's pretty challenging though, right? Because our parents or even family and friends, right? Some of us that are giving us loving advice because they do have our best interests in mind. But like you had mentioned, right? It's your parents only know what they know. And so they're kind of passing on that wisdom versus you knew something that was different that could be possible for you, right? What gave you that level of confidence to go against your parents' advice and pursue your thing?
I think that came from, you know, just seeing what I was doing, and just for YouTube, you know, I saw the path that people had laid out. Also part of the YouTube DJ journey, I originally was looking up to like people like Brian S. Red, and there was a few other guys at the time that were showing, you know, I'm a full-time DJ.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it. And I never even knew about GNI and Joe at the time, because they really weren't on the social sphere. But as I explored that whole endeavor further, I learned about these players. I learned about these multi-million-dollar entertainment companies. And, you know, I just saw that's something I can do. I always had a go get it, go do it attitude. And that's kind of, I just put the nose to the ground and went ham.
Yeah.
That's the best way to
so
put
you
it.
seeked the examples, right? I mean, the thing is, like, you can't just sit back and just expect like somehow magically a miracle is going to fall on your lap. You actually did the work on researching and trying to find the answers, and then you were able to find them, right? And that's then what inspired you to and gave you the confidence to believe in what's possible versus what your parents were telling you.
The first thing I do whenever I have any idea is I go to YouTube, I go to Google, and I just go into research mode. And I don't stop until I find something that emulates what I'm looking to get or looking to do. I mean, my house is the best example of that. When I first bought my house, you know, doing all the home improvements and everything. And I would just I'd have an idea like, can I do this window? I don't like it. What can I do around it? And just start Googling how to change a window and figure out how easy it is. And then everything you know.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for all your time that you spent with me. It's been such an awesome conversation that we got to share. I see a lot of similarities in our path, which is also really cool, especially given that we're both DJs, right? I mean, we have a love for our industry and we're trying to serve people. So hopefully, you know, people are inspired by what you were able to talk about and the loving and encouraging words that you were able to share with them. Now, you've got a successful YouTube channel, so I definitely want to send people your way. Where can they find your YouTube channel?
Just search DJ Rick Webb. DJ Rick Webb. You can misspell it if you want. It'll go to the same thing. My last name is Rick Webb with 1 B, but if you put in 2 B's, it's actually a higher search result than just 1 B. I found out early on that everyone wants to spell Rick Webb with 2 B's, so I actually put in all of my YouTube tagging the Rick Webb with 2 B's, so it works.
Very smart.
But yeah, you just search DJ Rick Webb on any source. You can find me on Instagram, find me on YouTube. Instagram is the best place if you want to reach out to me and DM me and talk. That's like my texting zone for anybody that's not like in my inner circle. Go in there, DM me. I respond to all my DMs. You can comment on my videos. I respond to every question, my comments. That's a pride factor that I like to say. I don't think everyone else can say that, but anybody that comments a question on my videos, I will 100% respond to you.
It's not a bot. It's not an assistant. It's you, right?
Nope. No, it's actually me. I don't have
awesome.
anybody else that runs that channel.
That's great. That's great. Okay, perfect. And then also make sure to check out bothlightingusa.com if you're in need of some awesome uplighting or, well, we can't call them
Cold sparks, moving
what are the
heads.
tubes called? Like, what's the
360 glow tubes.
Yeah, I just don't want to say the other brand. So on accident,
we made an ad video that's Gastera tiny tubes.
There you go. That's great. That's great.
To make fun of them. But yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Rick. Yeah, make sure to, again, subscribe to his YouTube channel and reach out to him also on the social medias of all the different platforms. And I'm sure we'll see you another time very soon.
Absolutely, man. This was fun.